Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Earlier this evening, I had the pleasure of doing a little 30-minute podcast with Lee from Inside the Distance and Bob at Canada's Boxing Channel. Two terrific fellas, two good channels. Subscribe to them, etc. I'll leave a link for the podcast in the description of this video. But one of the things we talked about was Daniel Dubois, because a lot of people have been saying, where is he? Where's he gone? Where's he gone? And I said, well, is he hiding behind the curtains? Is he under the bed? Is he behind the sofa? And turns out, surprise, surprise, none of those are accurate. But I think it was Lee made a very good point that perhaps he is being, shall we say, kept under wraps. And Lee and I are not two people that feel he was not ill for the Parker fight, but I think Lee said it best. He said that probably they used it as a way of sort of circumnavigating the Parker fight to go straight to USYK. But Bob said something that I think bears thinking about, and that is that perhaps he's being kept silent. I think Lee might have suggested this and Bob sort of picked up on it. Perhaps Daniel's being kept silent because they don't want to put him in front of a camera where he might, shall we say, not stick to a certain script, if you understand my meaning. Now, Daniel, God bless him, I mean, he's not the most, he doesn't exactly speak off the cuff, does he? No one's going to mistake him for John Betjeman. He's not exactly a great raconteur. You know, Peter Ustinov, he certainly fucking ain't. So probably if anyone's going to let something slip, if there is anything going on, I'm not necessarily saying that, you know, there's some great conspiracy behind it, because I don't have that mentality. I'm not interested in just pulling things out of my arse that are that extravagant or that convoluted. But if there is some sort of, if they have decided, Warren and whoever else have decided, okay, we're gonna sort of forget about the Parker fight, because I was hoping Daniel would fight Parker, that was not a cancellation but a postponement, because I think that's a good matchup, and I think, you know, Parker and Daniel, along with Kabayel, are the three heavyweights that have really flown in the last 18 months. So I was hoping they'd reschedule that. But if they are putting that on the back burner and trying to sort of shoehorn an undisputed fight between Daniel and USYK, a rematch, of course, then they don't want Daniel getting in front of the camera and saying all sorts of awkward things. Well, I was going to do this, and then they told me to do that, and they told me to, because he is someone who is kind of told what to do by his father, predominantly, to a lesser extent by Warren, and probably even to a lesser extent than that by Don Charles. I do get the feeling that, like I say, I think he probably was not injured. Did I use the word injured? Sick, unwell, ill for the Parker fight. Some people have said, oh, well, I wonder if he's coming off a cycle, a PD cycle. Again, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to support that view. Is it feasible? Well, of course it is, but that's the beauty of plucking things out of the air. Anything's literally, well, almost anything. Let's say almost anything is feasible. It's possible. But the one thing that I will say is that the silence is deafening. And of course, I'm by no means the first person that said this. A lot of people have said it before me. People have made videos about it. And I sort of hold off on that sort of thing because, again, I don't want to cast aspersions. But it is rather odd that he is not just so much him, but the people around him. Has his father done any interviews since the cancellation of the Parker fight that I'm not aware of? Perhaps you've seen one that I haven't. I do. It doesn't surprise me remotely that they will pick him up and put him in with USYK, given the chance, because USYK himself has said, I'd like to fight Daniel Dubois next. And once he said that, of course, it was like a green light. Okay, well, let's get him in there. Parker, hell with Parker. He can wait. Not very fair on Joseph Parker. I have said in many, many videos that I am a great admirer of both Parker and Dubois for coming back from those defeats, those respective defeats that they had. That's really one of the reasons, probably the main reason why I was looking forward to seeing them clash. But, Daniel is, I think, as Parker's got one of the interim belts anyway, so I think what might happen is they'll put Daniel in with Alexander Usyk, and then they'll say to Parker, okay, you can have the winner, whoever that is, which is okay. And then there has been some talk of, I think we also touched on this in the little podcast we did, me, Bob and Lee. They were talking about AJ versus Parker. I don't want to see that. I'm not interested. Has AJ deserved another shot at any kind of title, even if it's an interim belt? No, he hasn't. And I like AJ. I've been a supporter of his and a fan of his through his whole career. I think he's ducked no one. I don't think he was ever the best heavyweight in the world, but I respect anyone. I mean, don't forget he's a two-time champion. I'm quite an AJ fan, really. But I think he doesn't deserve a shot at any kind of belt. But he's a big name. He still sells tickets. There again, there's also talk of Derek Chisora possibly fighting Daniel. I don't think that will happen. I don't think Chisora will get a title shot. I think he'd need to win at least one more against a top 10er. And let's be honest, it's not that difficult because some of the names in the top 10 are very, very strange inclusions. But I think probably the most likely scenario is Daniel in with Usyk next, and then the winner to face Parker. I think that's probably how they'll play it. I don't know what the contractual situation was with Daniel and Parker, whether there was some stipulations regarding a postponement or an injury or an illness or something like that. I really don't know what the situation. I don't know that. I haven't seen the contract, obviously, but I do think call me naive if you like, but in the name of fairness, when have we ever had fairness in boxing? But in the name of fairness, I would like to see Parker get a shot because I think he's earned it. Whether it's against Dubois next or whether it's against the winner of Dubois and Usyk, maybe it could turn out nicely for Parker. Maybe he could find himself fighting for all four belts and not just one of them against either. But I don't know. Let me know what you think about this Daniel Dubois situation. Where is he? Where's he gone? Where's he hiding? Is he being hidden? Has he been tied up, gagged and stuffed in the attic? Flowers in the attic scenario. Maybe, don't know, maybe they got Joseph Fritzl out of prison to kidnap Daniel and stick him in the basement. I don't know. You tell me. Whatever theories you've got, leave them down below. We'll have a good read and I'll answer as many as I can. Have a look at that interview, that podcast that me, Lee and Bob did. It's only about half an hour. I'll leave the link in the descriptions. Thanks very much for your time as always. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the like button and spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing, Inside the Distance and Canada's boxing channel as well. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Bye for now.